Hello, my name is Shawn. I'm the editor at ScrewyMonkey.com, and today we're looking at conspiracy theories, why people form them, and why they continue to believe them. So we're about a week after the horrible tragedy that happened in Las Vegas, where a deranged gunman climbed the towers at Mandalay Bay and ended the lives of 58 people who wanted to do nothing more than go out and have fun enjoying a concert. The worst senseless act of gun violence in America in recent memory. It's just an awful thing. It affected everybody here in Las Vegas. It affected our staff here. We actually did not even shoot videos or anything else last week. We just took time to heal. Now, about an hour after the tragic event started to unfold, I got an invitation on Facebook to join a Facebook group that was established for the sole purpose of providing information to people who had been there and were affected, or people in Las Vegas who were wanting to get information as it unfolded. It was a really great group, a very helpful group, and I think it really did help a lot of people that night get the resources and services they needed in order to make it through what was one of the most horrific nights any of us can possibly imagine. At the time that I joined this group, there were roughly about 1,000 members, and it seemed like most of them were either directly related to the event or at least lived in Las Vegas. If you fast forward a couple of days, you will notice there's about 17,000 members in the group. And a lot of them don't seem to be either remotely connected to this event or even remotely close to here. About the same time this happened, I also started to see all of these conspiracy theories pop up. There were every conceivable explanation or conspiracy theory that you can imagine popping up. Like, people were saying everything from there were multiple shootings to multiple shooting victims at different locations, or shooters at different hotels up and down the strip, all happening simultaneously, to there were that the shooting was a plot by the government and Freemasons to take over the world or something. I mean, like, literally everything that you can think of was proposed as a theory on this particular group. At some point, I ran across a post that basically said, hey, look, maybe we should all wait for all the information to be, uncovered, and that perhaps there isn't a need for all these theories, and we may have to just say that we may never really know what actually happened or what was going on, and so as a result, we should probably just chill a little bit on the conspiracy theories. I thought this was a really good idea. So I commented back to the original poster, basically just saying, hey, you know what, you're right. We may never know, and if we do know, it might take some time, and maybe it'd be very beneficial if we all didn't just keep piling on different layers of stuff that may or may not be true. I was instantaneously attacked by tons of internet trolls. I cannot even tell you the amount of negative comments and other things that I got back as a result of just agreeing with this comment. It was ridiculous. People were treating me as if I had my head in the sand, or I was from another planet, or I was just an idiot because I wasn't willing to go along with their conspiracy theory or whatever it was that they were selling at that particular moment as far as the theory goes. I have never experienced anything like that before in my entire life. It was bizarre. So this got me thinking, what is it about conspiracy theories? Why do they tend to creep up every single time there's a tragedy? Why is it they get more and more crazy as time goes on? How do they get created? Why do people continue to believe in them? What is it? What is it about conspiracy theories that just makes people go completely nuts and want to just hang on to them? So I did what almost any person would do. I went to my bookshelf and I pulled out all my college psych textbooks, and at the same time I consulted Google, and I came up with at least 4 reasons why people create conspiracy theories and why they continue to believe them in the long run. My research basically led me to 4 distinct psychological conditions that explain why people create and continue to believe conspiracy theories. Our first explanation is confirmation bias. According to Wikipedia, Confirmation bias is defined as the tendency to search for, interpret, favor, and recall information in a way that confirms to one's pre-existing beliefs or hypothesis. It is a type of cognitive bias and a systematic error of inductive reasoning. People display this bias when they gather or remember information selectively, or when they interpret it in a biased way. The effect is stronger for emotionally charged issues and for deeply entrenched beliefs. Using the shooting on the Las Vegas Strip as an example, here's how confirmation bias works. In the very early moments when the shooting was still happening, over police scanners and things like that, or eyewitnesses overheard people talking about there maybe being more than one location for the shots being fired, or that they were looking for multiple shooters, because really simply they did not know where it was that the shots were coming from. So some of the early news reports even said there might be multiple ones. People didn't really know. It was really early. It was too early to tell. So that alone is almost enough information for someone to come up with their own conspiracy theory. Later, when information comes out that that was not the case, but there was in fact only one shooter, the people who have already come up with this as a theory that there might be multiple shooters are less likely to believe that information because it no longer fits what they think happened. Later, as more conspiracy theories come and as more people decide that they want to include that part in their own conspiracy theory, then they start looking for information that backs up what it is that they think happened. So they put an unusual amount of positive weight on the things that support their own theory. So they may take, for instance, early scanner audio saying that there were multiple shooters amongst the chaos, and they might take that to have more value or more weight than an official police statement later that says that we have confirmed that that was not the case and that there was actually one shooter. The sad thing about confirmation bias is that for the people who have conspiracy theories, they never really shift this. They will continue to believe what it is that they want to believe that supports their theory and discount everything else. So it is virtually impossible for someone who is a strong proponent of a conspiracy theory to change their mind, because they will automatically discount any other information they get that does not support their theory, and will give more value and more weight to the information they get that does support their theory, no matter if that information has been discredited or proven to be outright false. So the second thing that explains conspiracy theories is the proportionality bias. According to Skeptics Dictionary, proportionality bias is the tendency to believe that causes are proportional to effects in magnitude. Extreme events with monumentous consequences have extreme monumentous causes. Mundane events have mundane causes. Simply put, this just means that it's human nature that if something really big and horrible happens, that we think the cause has to be really big and horrible. If something small happens, we think that there is not much of a cause at all. In the instance of things like mass shooting, people really want to believe that one person cannot just, on a whim, start taking out a bunch of people and killing them. It just shouldn't happen. In our brain, we really think that something that big and that tragic and that monumentally important should have an equally as important cause. And so what most human beings do is they go around and they search for that, and they try to create it if it doesn't exist. Unfortunately, in the case of this particular incident, it doesn't look like it actually exists. So what people basically are doing is they're creating their own very monumental causes in the form of conspiracy theories to explain why it is that this event took place, when it seems there probably isn't that much of a cause at all. The third reason conspiracy theories are created and continue to be believed is the psychological concept of projection. According to Scientific American, people who endorse conspiracy theories may be more likely to engage in conspiratorial behaviors themselves, such as spreading rumors or tending to be suspicious of others' motives. If you would engage in such behavior, it may be natural that other people would as well. making conspiracies appear more plausible and widespread. Basically what this means is that people who participate in conspiracy theories are much more likely to be people who in other areas of their lives are either more likely to bend the truth, or are more likely to go behind someone's back and do something, or more likely to make something up. If someone is the type of person who is likely to participate in gossip or like sharing stories about other people and things like that in their day-to-day life, they are much more likely to be a conspiracy theorist. I think what happens here is that it just becomes natural for them to presume that what's presented to them on the surface is not the truth or is not reality, because they themselves very often don't do that. They very often will go talk about somebody over here or talk about somebody over there, and maybe sometimes stretch the truth when they're doing that. And so for them, it becomes really natural that when they hear news, that perhaps it's not actually what is being presented to them that is the reality. So they like to sort of fill in or look behind things to sort of figure out what the truth is for them, because for them it's just natural that whatever's presented to them is not the facts. So the fourth explanation for why people create and continue to believe conspiracy theories is something called mean world syndrome. This is actually something I remember hearing about back when I was in psych classes in college, and it's something we might actually do an entire video about at some point. But let me describe to you what it is. Wikipedia describes mean world syndrome as a phenomenon whereby violence-related content of mass media makes viewers believe that the world is more dangerous than it actually is. Mean world syndrome is one of the main conclusions of cultivation theory. So basically what this says is that if you're someone who watches mass media over and over and over again, particularly violent stories on the news, or with a tragic event like what happened here in Las Vegas, if you are the type of person to watch the video footage of the people who are hurt and shot and wounded and the bodies and all that kind of stuff, and just watch it over and over and over again, which is something that people obsessed with conspiracy theories have a tendency to do, is watch the same footage over and over and over again, you are disproportionately likely to view the world as a much more dangerous place than it actually is. The more violent content you expose yourself to on a daily basis around a certain event, the more dangerous you're going to perceive that event to be, and the more importance you're going to give it in the overall feeling of safety within society. That means the more violence you subject yourself to on TV, particularly without going out and experiencing the world firsthand, the more you are likely to perceive that the world is dangerous and that you should never go out in it and experience it. When it comes to a tragic event like this, what happens is that you start to think that whatever causes there are for this have to be greater and bigger than what the actual cause is, simply because in your perception, the world is much more dangerous of a place than to be okay with an explanation that there's a relatively simple reason that something happened. It's kind of like this. If you perceive danger everywhere you look, you're going to see danger. And if you perceive danger everywhere and something happens, but you do not perceive the danger behind it, you're going to create it so that you feel okay with your worldview. So those are basically the four reasons I found why it is that conspiracy theories get created and why they continue to be believed. If you know or think of any other reasons why you think that they continue to go on and why they happen, then leave a comment below. I would love to know. Also, I would like to say a couple of things. I'd like to say that one, just because I said all this doesn't mean that I don't think that there's any merit in some of the things that are being proposed in discussion. I think discussion is great. I think though when you cross that line between discussion and conspiracy theory, it gets really, really dangerous. So discussion and discourse, good. Conspiracy theories, not so good. The other thing is, I would really like to say that I am incredibly impressed with some of the people that actually were in the Facebook group that I was at, who actually did stand up and did say some really great things about me and defend my right to have my opinion. So I want to say thanks for those people in case they're watching. They know who they are. And then I'd also like to say this is my absolute last video I'm going to do on the topic of this tragic event in Las Vegas. I think that it's time to move on and for us to heal, and I think it's time for us as a city to move forward. I am once again extraordinarily proud of the city. I am proud of the way that everybody pulled together during this event, and I am very proud of the way that Las Vegas showed once again what a terrific city they are, and did everything they could do to make it better. I am very sorry for all those people who lost their lives once again, and they're all definitely in our thoughts and prayers. This has been a very difficult week around here, but we are very much looking forward to carrying on and entertaining you and providing really good content for you here on the channel, and providing you with the entertainment you expect from us. Make sure you subscribe, make sure you like, make sure you share this video particularly, because I really think it needs to get out there, but also make sure you do that in general so you don't miss any of that great content that's coming up. We'd love to hear from you. If you have anything to add to this video, I'd really appreciate it. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being you. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for joining us as we celebrate human culture one screwy monkey at a time.